Got something you want to say? Want to hear me respond to you directly? Well, let's get after it. I'm Chris Cuomo. Welcome to the Chris Cuomo Project. Look, it's called a project because it's something we're working on together, right? Little progress, little let's get after it action. This is where Greg Ott gets the great pleasure of going through the good, bad, and the ugly that comes from you to me, and then he gets to read it to me. So he kind of gets to own all the nasty things, even though he doesn't have to officially say that he said them. You see what I'm saying? So you have comments, my friend?
I do. I'm effectively a project manager. This is the Cuomo project. I'm the project manager. So
Greg Ott, PM.
Maybe I'm your boss.
Sure. You're my boss.
I'm not. You
can I have off on Friday?
You won't show up on Friday in a million years. In all the years we've done the show, you've never come in on a Friday. So I think that won't be a problem. We'll start with some phone calls. Is that okay?
Please.
Okay. Here's the first one.
Yeah. Hi, Chris. Name is Mike. I'm out in California. I'm an old guy, 77. Miss you on CNN. And I finally got an iPhone, and I found you again. And it's nice seeing your face and listening to what you have to say. I've got a quick question, and I haven't heard this said by many. If stuff keeps going as bad as it's going for this guy, why would he allow the midterm elections to happen? Can't he just cancel those? I wouldn't put it past that. I won't even tell you what I think about him. But anyway, good to see you, buddy.
First of all, thank you very much. I can't tell you how many people say to me, miss you on CNN, where are you? And there is something frustrating about that, but that's part and parcel of being with a startup, which is what News Nation is. So thank you for taking the time and the effort to find me. Most of you haven't, but that's okay. That's why I have the podcast and I'm trying different platforms. Second, no, the president can't cancel the fucking midterms. I guess if you had an emergency and you were in martial law, there would be some kind of constitutional play to delay elections. I do not see that happening, but I don't want to dismiss your angst either. We are in extreme times. Trump adds to this and feeds it. So do the fringy Democrats, so do the pod bros, so do opportunists in the media, so do a lot of different factions that are all looking for advantage in every opportunity to divide us for profit. So you are not wrong to be worried about things that you used to think would be absurd. I get it. Things keep going as badly for this guy. Now, since you made the phone call, the president has unilaterally decided to bomb the regime in Iran at its enrichment facilities, its uranium enrichment facilities, and it seemed to have worked in precipitating a ceasefire. So now he's got to win. And now...
Those are air quotes you put on the screen. This is the video, too.
Yeah,
audio.
Yeah,
an audio they can't see.
Video killed the radio star. Okay, and the same thing's happening with podcasts. Wow. So I'm making air quotes for all six.
I'm just helping the audio viewers.
All six of you
audio listeners,
on audio listeners right now.
No, there's several thousand of you out there. Trust me.
All right, you should be watching. All right, it's a video-driven thing. You got to phone.
Use the screen. Either one will take you. Either
use
way.
Use the screen. So what I'm saying is this: everything is what have you done for me lately. And whatever the most dominant vibe is right before the midterms is going to decide the swing. Now, a couple of yeah buts. Yeah, but you got 95% retention rate of congressional seats, despite the fact that they're in the 20s of approval. Why? Base. The way the machinery works, the way the party structure works, the way the intensity of voting works in congressional districts, especially in off-year elections. And they only have to satisfy the crazies. And that's why they're so extreme. So I think it's going to be a macro on the economy and a micro on fundamentalism, meaning who's trying to kill us in that moment. That's going to be the dominant culture issue. Trans is done. Reproductive rights is done. Christianity is, as a thing, Christian right is going to be done. Things can always come back. But I'm saying in this cycle, it's going to be who's trying to kill us and which side owns that narrative.
Hello. My question to you is that all the money that was saved by Doge, cutting of funds, programs, slashing, did they use any of the money to pay down on the debt? Thank you and have a great day.
Nope. And what money? There's only a fraction of what Doge was bragging about that has even come to pass as a possibility.
Because they promised trillions, right? Didn't they promise like $2 trillion in cuts or something like that?
So they promised a lot. They didn't deliver as much. And Congress hasn't done the rescission bills yet. So right now it's zero, let alone what are you going to use it for? I'll tell you what I think they're going to use it for is they're going to try to use it to justify the tax cuts. And here's my problem with the tax cuts. They're not for you. They're for me. They're for the top earners. And is that good for me? Yeah, because I get killed on taxes. So I'm okay with it. I would be less okay with it and more okay with paying the taxes if I thought it was used responsibly. You know what I mean? I don't have any problem with the social contract. I have a problem with the execution of that contract by government. I think they waste the fucking money, and I think they do things with it that I don't want them to do. So then I don't like my tax rate, so I'd rather get a tax cut, which it looks like I'm going to get, but that's not what was promised. And I think that should matter. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security in certain ways. Those are good things. There should have been more of that. And there are ways to do it that were neglected.
Chris Cuomo, my name is Jeffrey. I think you're a fucking dog. Badass. Love your show. One little disagreement. You're worried about all this outside extremism. Your guests keep talking about Korea coming over the border, Chinese, Iranians coming over the border. All the recent attacks in America have been homegrown extremists. You need to focus more on that, Bubba. We don't have a bunch of fucking terrorists coming over the border attacking us. We have homegrown people that have lived here, gotten pissed off, radicalized, and then blow a gasket. I would put a little bit more focus on that, my brother. Other than that, you are knocking it out of the park. Take care, brother.
I'm with you. I'm with you. You get a big amen. Check me out on News Nation. I've been talking about this specifically with the emphasis that you're talking about. I think we're killing ourselves. I think the division and the extremism is coming home to roost on us, disaffected males. And I've laid this out many different times. And I agree with you. You are right. You are right. It's not 9/11. It's not post 9/11 where we're just worried about the jihadis coming over here. You got to worry about that. These Iranians that they just picked up who snuck across the border. Some of them could be bad guys for more than just the illegal crossing. That's a threat. That's real. Sleeper cells, a little romanticized, but that's a thing. But now we have another thing, a new thing, and I would argue an equally threatening thing, which is disaffected people who either appropriate the oppression of others or are just antagonistic towards our culture and our government and our democracy and our country, and they want to express that in violence. And they're here, and they're one of us.
Hi, I'm just wondering why you're not addressing the Koch brothers owning Trump and the Supreme Court. This is really what's happening. Trump's just a pawn, and I'm wondering why you don't address any of that in your podcast, because you know how powerful, you know they're running the Trump show because they're all oligarchs, billionaires. So I wonder if you can address that. Thanks. I appreciate it.
It never ends. The boogeymen never end. You got the Koch brothers, you got Adelson, you got all the Hedgies and all the other guys, and now the tech bros. And then you got Soros, who's like the ultimate boogeyman. The guy's like 100 years old, but he's still blamed for everything that the left does. Look, the most dangerous money in politics is legal money, not illegal money. Okay, that's what Citizens United did, is it inculcated into the Constitution the legality of money as speech. So you just dump money into these PACs. Anybody can do it. It's all dark money. They don't have the same reporting requirements that campaigns proper do. And it's terrible. But to to focus just on the Kochs, you know, for whatever the plus minus is on them, right? And everybody's got pluses and minuses, even if they have more of one than the other. It never ends. The money is a problem, and it's never going away. So chasing one side and chasing the other just helps the division. And I'm exhausted of the division, and I want to focus on what brings us together and what helps the many, not the few.
I don't know if this helps, but one of the Koch brothers has been dead for a very long time.
Well, there were three.
I know.
There's
The
still
one of the ones who was Charles and David were the two mostly associated with these things. I'm saying David is dead. It's not a gotcha. I'm just telling you that.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a gotcha.
It's not a gotcha.
It's a little bit of a gotcha.
The call was about the Koch brothers. There's two of them they usually think of. All I'm saying is one of them is dead. That doesn't mean that Charles isn't still involved. I'm just saying that one of them is no longer alive.
Do you think her concern is the population of Kochs?
No,
or
I know,
the amount of money?
She's not doing a census of the Koch family. I'm just saying the Koch brothers as a whole, the one dude is mostly involved these days because the other dude who was mostly involved is doing other things in the afterlife, in hell, in heaven, wherever he's hanging out these days.
Let me ask you good people something. Do you believe that Mr. Ott, if that's his real name, just advanced your understanding of this dilemma?
What if you're going on about these boogeymen. Oh, you hear the Koch brothers. Hey, it's actually not the Koch brothers anymore because one of the brothers is toast.
There were three.
I know, but I'm saying the ones that you mostly think about.
You know,
it's very hot today.
There is one theory of debate that when someone is highly agitated, they're losing.
Okay, man, that's one theory.
That's the theory.
Yeah. Okay. I'll see you in Jubilee.
Jubilee. That's a great word. You know, it has religious roots. Did you know that?
Great.
It does. Jubilee is a holy celebration.
Okay. I believe you.
I felt like that point was a lot more useful than his. The Jubilee thing. At least that's true, what I said. Support comes from 120 Life. If you can see this, great. If you can hear it, I just took a sip. You know why? Because it tastes good. You know why else? Because it works good. High blood pressure is the number one risk factor for mortality. We have it in my family. That doesn't make us uncommon. It makes us common. 1 in 2 adults have high blood pressure. There's a 50-50 chance, okay? Why wouldn't you do something about it? Now, the question is what to do. Here's why I like 120 Life. It is a blend of all natural fruit and vegetable juices, okay? There's no gimmick in it. It's just nature, natural, and science, all right? And by the way, I'm selling it short. 120 Life isn't just for high blood pressure, even though that's what the 120, right? It plays with the pressure reading for the top number. But it's also good if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. Why? Managing blood pressure helps with diabetes. It makes 120 Life a very valuable tool. Try 120 Life and you're going to get a 15% discount if you use the code CHRIS at checkout on 120life.com. You're going to get free shipping and you've got this money back, no questions asked guarantee if your blood pressure doesn't improve within just 2 weeks.
Tell you what, how about we move to the YouTube comment section, the thing that people tell you not to read?
Listen, I agree that you should stay out of the comments. You shouldn't really comment. And you should absolutely go on a digital fast. There should be digital fasting the same way that we do intermittent fasting. Less phone is better. However, I have a job that is to engage. So I do more of it than I would advise for others because it's part of my job.
Well, let's do your job. This is on your video recently about the 2 Iran questions that will define Trump's presidency. Ingrid Account writes, wokeism is not a thing. The right demonized and hijacked the term to mean something of its own making. To be woke means to be aware and pay attention, particularly as to things that pertain to black peoples. That will never die, nor has it imploded. Stay woke.
Was woke taken from the suffrage, the black suffrage movement? Yes. And is that right or wrong? That's for you to decide. But does it now have a different context? Yes. And does the fact that it used to mean something else mean that it can no longer mean or should not or can never mean anything else but that? No. And it is a thing, and it is about weighing the needs and wants of the few over the many. And it crushed Democrats. And it's doing it again now. And AOC is a major perpetrator and symbol of the demise of the Democratic Party by going too far down the road of favoring the few over the many.
From that same video, the 2 Iran questions that will define Trump's presidency, a lot of people have said and liked comments along these same lines. Eric Hudson, 3023, Trump can't make a deal to save his life. What are you talking about? 107 likes. Daniel Roberts, 698. We had a deal with Iran. Trump tore up the deal because Obama's name was on it. He said he would make a better deal. It never happened. This is on Trump. Doesn't know how to make a deal. Crazy for you to say he knows how to deal. Sorry to hear you think this. 196 likes. Chris, I like your views on almost everything, but you give Trump too much credit. That's Jose DJ. He's only good at lying, manipulating, and creating distractions. You can't see him as a real president. I don't see this as a Dem or hater. I say this from the view of logic, which he has none. And you know it way more than me. Damon Cooper, 8,093. Chris, when has Trump negotiated or brokered a good deal? He is a very unsuccessful businessman, and it's a proven
All right.
fact.
I said he sees himself as a deal maker. He wants to make deals. That's where his head is. That's where he sees success. He is not a hawk in the traditional sense. He does not believe in might makes right through military, as we have seen in the past. That's my fucking point. Is he successful in business? Hell no, except in selling his name as a marketing guy, which he has a very specific kind of genius with. You got to give it to him. That guy is president of the United States, 2X, okay, and should have never happened. So what did he do? He attached and became an affinity play for people he has nothing in common with. He adopted their outrage and sold it back to them. Now, you can say he doesn't know how to make a deal, but that's a deal right there. And will he be able to make tariff deals with other countries? I don't know, but he's not the one negotiating. So I do think deals will get made because it's not him. Do I think he made a deal with the regime? No, but he got the two sides to make a ceasefire because the regime is afraid that we were going to bomb them out of existence. Do I think that was the right play? Doesn't matter. He thought it was the right play, whether it was legal or not legal, right or wrong, and now there's a ceasefire. That's a win in the state of play. You can say no, but you're just a player hater. And I don't give a fuck how many likes you get on your comments by hating Trump, because it doesn't win the race. You get 42, 44%. That's what just happened. Trump sucks, doesn't win the race. My frustration is with you thinking you keep doing the same thing, which is just pound on this fucking guy, which is easy enough to do, but you don't win the race. So now what you're doing is doubling down on Trump sucks by outrage and making your own MAGA. I don't think it's going to work for Democrats. I think you're making a mistake paying attention to AOC and this new deference to radical left and radical fundamentalist and radical Islamist sympathies. I think it's a huge fucking mistake. You are once again valuing the few over the many. And if you think trans sports got you in a pickle, you're about to be in a whole bucket of brine. That's deep.
It's real. I hope it's
You
not.
kind of look like a big pickle today.
Because I'm wearing a green shirt.
He's very testy.
You call me a pickle. I'm not a pickle. I'm just wearing a green shirt. That's not very clever.
Let me ask you something.
Oh, sure.
If you were going to be a vinaigrated vegetable, do you think you would be a cucumber pickle?
Have you ever had like cauliflower that's been
Yes,
pickled?
I like
that's
that.
That's pretty good stuff. So I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily pick that, but I like a good cornichon.
Of course you do.
Yeah, of course I do.
Of course you do.
What? On a cheese plate?
That was your nickname in high school, wasn't it?
I wish it was cornichon. Are you kidding me? Could you spell it?
Tiny pickle? That's what you wanted to be called in high school?
I see. That's like a penis thing. Hey, speaking of penis, I got like, speaking of small, the small penis. Okay, well, speaking of penises.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
Brian Johnson was one of your guests recently. He put the
translucent man?
Yeah, he put a jetpack on his penis, remember, to measure his, like, how many times he got an erection.
Who doesn't, though?
Yeah, who does? Yeah, it's like it's a dream of the Jetsons.
If I had a dime for every time I had a jetpack on my penis. What?
Well, what's the end of that sentence?
I mean, I certainly have enough to get on the subway.
With the Omni? Tap to pay?
Yeah.
Just put your schlong on the reader.
What's the subway now? About $7.50?
Nah, $2.25, I think. So, Christ, that's a lot of hot air. Okay, so anyway, Brian Johnson, in this interview, the comments on this from Obi-Jin Kenobi writes, "You can try to put it off, but death always wins." He's part of Brian Johnson with the
Nobody gets out of this life alive. Only two things for sure: death and taxes.
From the same comment section, Norwood Builder, a lot of wood, a lot of OBGYN. Norwood Builder, 7529. So do we all start collecting Social Security at age 95? Michelle Gasper, 1028 says, this guy sounds like a rich, bored person.
A rich who?
Bored person.
Oh.
Bored.
Look, wellness is a luxury. Wellness is expensive. Good food, supplementation, services, treatments, they're all expensive. And that's why the trick is to figure out the best way to live clean on a budget. And there are ways. And if you're into longevity, I particularly am not. I'm into performance. But there are ways to do it. But you're right. You got to be a Brian Johnson in order to do all the shit that he does. It's redonkulously expensive.
This is from your recent interview with Scott Galloway. He talked a lot about how in that he sees a lot of echoes of 1930s Germany in today's America. We posed that comment to the audience. Do you see echoes of 1930s Germany and how the U.S. politics are unfolding today? One person said no, and got 6 likes. One person said yes and got 12 likes.
So yes wins.
So yes wins.
Look. So sometimes history rhymes. Sometimes people are just repeating things. And yet, Nazi is such an extreme. And I believe that the temptation to use it as much as we've seen recently is kind of a symptom of our embracing extremism, that in saying Trump is Hitler, they are Nazis, this is Gestapo, it's just such an extreme thing. It was the eradication of a type of person known as the Jew. And to do that, to make anything like that, I find inherently wrong. Okay? Now, I get how you can say how things started, and this is similar to how it started, and this is where it begins. But that doesn't mean you can take it to where it ended without really cheapening that end and exaggerating your current status. Trump is not Hitler, okay? And I think it's really wrong to do that. Not because I'm saying Trump is good. The opposite of Hitler is not good, right? There's this whole space of humanity between Hitler and perfection, right? There's like, you could be a complete piece of shit and be 2 or 3 evolutions of better human than fucking Hitler. But I just think it's too much. And I think when you do that, when you go so heavy, you wind up losing people who were with you in terms of the initial basis of criticism. Trump lies too much. Trump shouldn't call Anderson Cooper Allison Cooper. He shouldn't say homophobic shit. We don't need another reason to go after minority groups. We don't need that from a leader. That's enough. It doesn't have to be, oh, he hates gays. Oh, he hates this. Oh, he's a Nazi. He's a bigot. You don't need to go all in, because then you wind up losing people who you had with you in the incremental nature of the criticism. The truth is enough. Look, you don't need me to tell you that there are a lot of unknowns when it comes to what's going on with our markets and our money. Things just are not in a good place. Inflation is up. How much? Well, it depends on the day. Banks, borrowing costs, prices, everything that's going out there right now is really hard to predict. And we all have the same question. What do we do to protect what we have? That's why more and more people are turning to gold and silver. Because they're not make-believe, man. They're not some digital thing that some guy can just hack and it's gone forever. It's real, it's proven, it's tangible. It doesn't just crash with the rest of the market. It is the oldest tried and true hedge. But here's what nobody tells you. Just buying gold is not a thing. You got to buy the right kind, okay? Because you can buy the wrong kind. Like what? How about those flashy coins and the TV ads? Oh, it's a collector's series, right? Or some celebrity says, oh, this is what I'd do. Yeah, ask them how much they really have. These gimmicks are built to make someone else rich, not you. I want you to hear from Dr. Kirk Elliott. 2 PhDs, one of them is in theology. Think about that. When's the last time you met an investment guy that has taken the time to study their religion? No gimmicks, no commissions when you sell, okay? He does it differently, and I would say he does it the right way. And you wind up getting an option to buy real bullion that you can actually use. Right now, Dr. Kirk and his team, they're partnering with me at KEPM and offering free consultations. No pressure, just straight talk. Go to kepm.com/Cuomo and take control of your future. Knowledge is power. Get smart, get moving before the next shock hits.
From your video about how Trump manufactured the perfect political crisis with regards to what's going on in California with the Waymos and the National Guard and all that stuff, Damon Cooper, 8093, writes, Chris, how can you compare this to January 6th? And the military or National Guard was not called in on January 6th. They breached the Capitol.
January 6th was one of the most embarrassing things I've witnessed as an American here at home. Yes, I agree with you 100%. And it was not an insurrection because I don't believe they had any real intention of taking over the government. And that is a defined term. And again, the truth is enough. There's no reason to exaggerate it. And I don't see the LA protests / riots as the same thing as January 6th. I don't. January 6th was worse. And it doesn't matter if it was less people, it doesn't matter if there was less crime or less violence or more, it doesn't matter. Attacking the U.S. Capitol during an act of Congress is more egregious. I agree with you.
From the same episode, PDC Design 9632 writes, MAGA Trump, hey, look over there while I take your Social Security benefits and take this country into bankruptcy.
Well, he's not taking Social Security benefits. He is smart enough to know that that is a death sentence. In fact, the big, beautiful bill, one of the only virtues in it, in my opinion, is that it adds a little bit of a layer on Social Security. Look, the big thing that you have to do with Social Security that will be the least disgusting to people is raise the ceiling on income that gets taxed. It's right now, I think, at $147,000 or $174,000. If you were to raise it to $500,000, then you have no problem with Social Security for the next generation. So why don't they do that? Who wants to piss off the rich? That's the rich. Hey, nobody wants to piss off the people who are making more money because they vote more, they have more input, and they have more influence. Now, that's changing because that's one of the upsides of populism. That's one of the upsides of outrage and grievance movements and all this disruption is maybe there will be some change. But how good a maybe is that when Trump was supposed to be the ultimate disruptor and he's giving the exact same people the tax cut? He has literally changed nothing in terms of the culture of benefiting the corporate elite. He's doing the same fucking thing.
Well, apropos to what you're talking about Trump, Jamie33 has commented on at least 5 or 6 videos, and they actually say the same thing every single time. TDS, 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 TDS.
TDS. Are you saying titty ass?
It's almost like STDs. I keep, when you look at something over and over again.
Titty ass.
He's saying titty ass.
Titty ass, titty ass, titty ass.
So it's not just TDS over and over again, it's titty ass. I see.
TDS, Trump derangement syndrome.
Well, that's what it means.
It is real. And he's right. The only problem is he has it.
Oh.
Because the inability to accept any criticism of your person, your side, is deranged. Okay? And it's because you are not coming from a place of logic. You're coming from a place of passion, of feeling, of outrage, of fear, of anger. And it's like when you're angry and someone says to you the worst word you can hear, relax. Or the two worst words you can hear, calm down. Say that to somebody who's angry in your life, especially if you're in a romantic relationship, and then duck. Why? Because you do not want to hear that you are wrong to feel the way you feel. One of the big mistakes in politics is trying to convince people to feel differently. You have to put their feelings into a different outcome. You have to give them a reason to believe in something that fear can lead them to, that emotion can lead them to. Fear is hard because it really can only take you down. But that's the trick in politics. So there is Trump derangement syndrome. You have it as a maggot, as the people who hate you call you. I do not disrespect you that way. You want to be part of MAGA. Many of you want to be part of MAGA for good reasons, not just bad reasons, even if they're scared reasons. And I understand that. But you have to be open to criticism. You cannot just say your side is right because the other side is worse all the time. You don't apply that anywhere else in your life if you're successful at anything.
Well, you know you're doing something right based on this comment and what you were just saying. In the last episode of comments, Alex Steele 1125 responded, Chris, you know you're doing something right when both sides are angry with you, but you have the support of your viewers/listeners.
All 7. Here's the thing. It is very hard to not pick a side in a game. And the only thing that both teams agree on is what? The ref sucks. Right? So I don't want to be the referee and I don't want to be in the middle. Nothing happens when you're in the middle. Okay? Except that you're going to get hit by both. And it'd be easier for me to pick a team. If I were to pick the left or the right, I'd be a giant. I'd have twice the following. I'd make a lot of money. But that's not why I do what I do. And that's okay. But I don't know that it used to be that you know you're doing your job in journalism when both sides are upset at you. Yeah, I don't know anymore. I think it's just proof that you don't have a base. And I'm okay with that because I'm betting on independent critical thinkers. And I'd rather have fewer people get value from what I'm saying, but have them be the right people. I'd be okay with that. And I am okay with it.
Well, I can live with that too. You know, you often accuse me of pulling the meanest comments, but not everybody likes what I have to say. Sometimes I chime in, you know, just to talk to you.
Yeah, I mean, you can be a problem.
Well, Richard Barron once said, "Wow, Greg's random. I love it. What a cold open. Hi, Greg." But Johnny Bangkok said Greg is a weirdo with like a sarcastic, eye rolling face. So, you know, you kind of I'll take fewer listeners, just like you said you'll take fewer listeners. I guess is it my job to kind of like, I don't know, make people listen to the show? I don't know, but. We're all here for that. You're playing on your phone. You're not listening to a word I'm saying.
I am listening to everything.
No, it doesn't really matter. You're preoccupied with, you know, your DoorDash order or whatever you're doing over there.
Well, I'm sorry. It was just somebody who's at the Pentagon talking to me about what's happening in Iran right now. But please go ahead. I've got important people on my phone too. I've got people texting me about other, you know, interesting. They're not the Pentagon, but you know, they might be at, you know, pickle convention.
Yeah, pickle. Yeah, he's thinking about pickles again. You can't get it off your mind. Cornichon, yeah. Cornichon. Hey, I mentioned it once, and you can't stop thinking about it. So what does that say about you? Huh?
That's your code name.
Great.
Cornichon.
I know, but it means small penis. Okay, let's wrap this up. People also shouldn't think this about me. So.
Did you say penis? Pee-pee?
Yeah, I said
Did you say
penis,
pee-pee?
I said penis earlier.
Pee-pee shouldn't? Pee-pee shouldn't.
What are you, 5? What is? Okay, we're done. We're done.
Listen, if you're not having fun, why are you doing it? One of the beautiful things about doing the Chris Cuomo project for me is that I enjoy who I do it with, right? So I got Amrish, I got Greg, I got the Phantom, Jeff, who is far away. But these guys are here, and I get a kick out of each and all of you, whether it's positive or negative. I think that as long as it's food for thought, as long as it's making you think for yourself, that's the job. Where you conclude and whether that creates agreement or disagreement, accord or discord is somewhat secondary. I love to hear the comments. I benefit from the comments. Whether I agree or disagree is irrelevant. There's always something instructive in it. And something I do have to get better at. And I understand why I'm slow on this overtly, publicly, although I'm better privately. In terms of my process of doing my job than how I talk about doing my job, is we have to change our opinions more. We have to change what we think more, because that's a sign of growth and learning. There are very few things that are absolute, and there are very few great thinkers who weren't totally open to being wrong and being corrected and changing. And you see it in philosophy again and again and again. And we're slow to do it. Why? Because you get owned, and because some shithead on social media is going to beat you over the head with it for 2 weeks and say, see, he admitted he's wrong. I destroyed him. And we're a gotcha culture where insults are a proxy for insights. But we got to be better than that. And part of that is not giving in to what we oppose. So, thank you for the comments. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for listening. Thank you for thinking about it and reaching out. That's what we're here for. That's what the project is about. Thank you for subscribing and following and checking me out on News Nation at 8 p and 11 p Eastern every weekday night. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you want more exchange, subscribe to the Substack. All right, we're going to start doing more TikTok content also. Subscribe at YouTube, and you'll know when we're coming. And we're here for you. The challenges are real, so let's get after it.